If you've ever used Terraform, you already know it's an absolute game changer for infrastructure as code. But the moment you add a second person to your project, things can get really messy and fast. So today, we are tackling one of the most crucial parts of using Terraform in a team: how to manage the state file. So here's how we're going to break it all down. We'll start with the fundamentals. What in the world is Terraform State? Then we'll dive into the classic growing pains that pop up when you add team members and how a remote backend is basically your superhero. We're also going to unpack the magic of state locking, walk through exactly how to set it up, and wrap up with some essential commands that'll make you look like a state management pro. Let's get to it. Okay, first things first, what exactly is this state we keep talking about? Well, you can think of it as the central nervous system of your entire Terraform project. It's the blueprint, the single source of truth. At its core, Terraform State is just a JSON file, usually called terraform.tf state. But don't let that fool you. This file is everything. It is literally the map that connects the beautiful code you've written to the real live resources running out there in the cloud. You see, without it, Terraform is completely lost. It has no idea what infrastructure it's supposed to be managing. Now, what's really cool is how much heavy lifting this one file does. It's not just mapping your code to the cloud, oh no. It tracks all the metadata and dependencies, which is how Terraform knows the exact order to create or destroy things. It also makes things way faster on big projects, and, most importantly, it's that single source of truth for what your infrastructure actually looks like right now. When you're a solo developer, this local state file is a dream. It just works. But what happens when your project is a hit and your team starts to grow? Well, this is where the local state problem rears its ugly head. Let's paint a picture. Meet Abdul. He kicks off a brand new project, runs Terraform apply, and boom, Terraform creates that terraform.tf state file right there in his project directory. It's simple, it's clean, and everything is humming along perfectly for him. A few weeks go by, and Lee joins the team. Awesome. But now they need to collaborate, and that means they have to share the state file. The most obvious solution seems to be, hey, let's just commit terraform.tf state to our Git repo. On the surface, it kind of makes sense, but this, right here, is where the trouble begins. The first glaring problem is security. I mean, the state file is often packed with sensitive data. We're talking private IPs, database passwords, maybe even access keys. Committing this stuff to your Git repository is a massive security risk. It exposes those secrets to anyone who can see the code. A huge no-no. So let's be super clear. While sharing this state file in Git is, simple to start, the downsides are just brutal. You're putting sensitive data at risk, and maybe even worse, you have absolutely no way to stop two people from running apply at the same time. This can and will lead to conflicts, overwrites, and a corrupted state file, which is a total nightmare to fix. Okay, so that's the problem. Thankfully, there's a much, much better way. The professional industry standard way for teams to use Terraform is with something called a remote backend. A remote backend solves all of those problems we just talked about. First, it stores your state file somewhere secure, like an AWS S3 bucket or Google Cloud Storage, completely outside of Git. Then, every time anyone on your team runs a Terraform command, it automatically pulls down the latest state and pushes up the new version after it's done. And it also adds extra layers of security, like encryption, and the real game changer, something called state locking. Let's talk about state locking for a second, because this is probably the single most important feature for preventing absolute chaos when you're working in a team. So let's go back to our little horror story. What happens if Abdul and Lee both try to run Terraform apply at the exact same moment? We know with a local file in Git, it's a race to disaster. But with a remote backend? The second person to run the command gets this message. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh no, an error, something's broken. But this is not a bug. This error message is actually your best friend. It's just Terraform politely saying, hey, hold on a sec. Someone else is making changes right now. Just wait your turn so we don't break anything. At the end of the day, state locking is basically a traffic cop for your infrastructure. It makes sure that only one operation can change the state and your real-world resources at any given moment. This simple mechanism completely eliminates the risk of two people making changes at once and causing conflicts or data loss. All right, so this all sounds fantastic, right? But how do you actually set it up? Well, the good news is, moving from a local state to a remote backend is incredibly easy. Seriously, it's just a simple three-step process. First, you just add a new backend block to your Terraform code. Second, you run Terraform init. Terraform is smart.
It'll see the new backend, find your old local state file, and ask you if you want to copy it to the new remote location. You say yes. And finally, once it's all migrated successfully, you can safely delete that old terraform.tf state file forever.
And here's what that code actually looks like. This is for an AWS S3 backend. You just tell it the S3 bucket name, the key or path where you want to store the file, and the region. Oh, and see that DynamoDB table line? That's the secret sauce. That's what turns on the state locking feature we were just talking about. It's really that simple. Now, one really important rule, once your state is living remotely, you should never, ever, ever edit that file by hand. Instead, Terraform gives you a safe set of commands to interact with it right from your terminal. Here are the 4 you're going to use most often. Terraform State List just gives you a quick rundown of everything Terraform is managing. Show lets you zoom in and see all the details for one specific resource. MV is for moving or renaming things, and RM is for when you want to tell Terraform to just forget about a resource without actually destroying it. That MV command, oh man, this one is a lifesaver. You know that moment when you want to refactor your code and give a resource a better name? Well, if you just change the name in your code and run apply, Terraform will think you want to destroy the old resource and create a brand new one. But if you use Terraform State MV first to update the name in the state file, when you run apply, Terraform just sees that everything matches up, no destruction needed. All right, let's bring it all home. If you remember anything, remember this. Local state is totally fine for solo projects, but remote backends are absolutely essential for teams. That state locking feature is your safety net. It prevents those dangerous race conditions. And the best part? Making the switch is as simple as running Terraform init. And that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. As your projects get bigger and your team grows, your tools and your habits need to grow with them. So take a good, hard look at your current setup. Is your state management strategy ready for that growth? Or is it a ticking time bomb? Thanks for joining me for this explainer.